Yum! It's packed. So this all came up after I pruned it. The leaves are really tiny, but there's lots of fruit, but I'm just gonna leave it there and eat them, and then I'm pretty sure it loses its leaves again when it goes into winter. But it's looking yum. Look at these poor sunflowers. They're pretty much spent. These ones. Some of the animals have been having a nibble. Just been letting them because I took some of the bigger ones away. And I don't need these for anything. But they're looking a bit sad now. Miss having the sunflowers all in their glory. But we'll have a look at the rest of the garden. I've got my little herb box looking great. The oregano, parsley, coriander in bloom. So I haven't really used any coriander, but it looks pretty. And some chives. It's been pretty neat to see how they propagate themselves. Like this, there was only 4 bunches, but now they're starting to split. So now there's like 2 in that spot and 2 in that spot. I just think that's really cool. Some store-bought spring onions, they look really good. And now this bed looks very different. All along this run here, I got rid of the cucumbers, I got rid of the cucamelon. So now we have peas. We saw these were little, or they haven't even popped out yet last time. But so these are the blue Shelling Pea along here. So they're looking all right. This bed gets a lot more shade, so I think maybe they're still doing okay, but I think some of the things in this bed are a bit more slow growing. These are the beetroots here. This little small one. And red Welsh onions. They still look good. These ones in here, they're still really small. I think it's just because it's getting so shaded by everything else. But these lettuces look awesome. I'm really keen to have them with something. Some nachos or something. Nacho salad. And this beautiful thing, the Scabiosa Pincushion. It hasn't had any more flowers come up, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So I'm thinking I might actually end up getting a pot for this and putting it in that, because without the flowers it's sort of just hanging out here in the bed. So I may end up moving it into its own pot, so then I can use this area to grow some more food to eat. There's some more of the beautiful spring onions. They look so good. They seem to love this spot here. I just need to make more things to use it for, but they're going to be super handy. I love them. And here I planted out so many of the rest of my little seedlings. I don't have any more little seedlings left in little pots to plant out. So I've got this one and this one. They are both a broccoli. I think it's broccoli de ciccio. And over this side, they're both broccoli. They're purple sprouting broccoli. This one and that one, they are cauliflowers. I think they are mini cauliflowers. Yeah, I've only got 2 mini cauliflowers. The other cauliflower I have is in the other bed, which is an early Jessie. And on the first garden tour I said it was a mini, but these are my only 2 mini cauliflowers, that one and that one. Down here I had an extra pea that I sprouted inside. I've just planted it out there. I don't know if it's actually gonna, I don't know how he will do, but I had it to plant and I was getting rid of all my sprouts from inside, so I've just popped it into the garden to see how it goes, and it can use this to climb up if it works. But the main reason I left this in was for these cute little babies. These are the Milkmaid Nasturtiums. They've all popped up And so they're supposed to be a vining kind, so I'm hoping to have them climbing up here and looking really pretty. Back around here, I pruned back the sugar plant because it was definitely finished with its flowering. You can actually see there's its seeds everywhere in the bed, which I don't mind. That'd be pretty cool if it comes back. So I pruned it back because it was really shading out a lot of this area, and I do think the peas have grown more since I've let a lot more sun get this back area, because I really want those peas to get growing and grow up that wall there. This was interesting though. The top of this pea was eaten off by something. That one wasn't me. And it doesn't look like it's growing anymore. Usually you get growth coming out from different angles. That one just kind of looks stunted, so we'll see if I get any more growth out of that one. I might have to just eat it and then let the rest of it fill it out. And in this part, I was so excited for this cornflower to open up. It's a blue cornflower. I've been trying to grow this one for ages, and I think I worked out that I was planting it when it was too hot. The rest of there's 3 other plants down there, they're cornflowers as well, but this one came up on a single stem and finally flowered. I just think it's really pretty. In our middle bed here, there is so much green. It looks awesome. At the front, I pulled out a bunch of the marigold plants to get more sunlight on these crops here, so that's helped. There's some more lettuce, so it's been doing great. And this is Perpetual Spinach, is the biggest one, the biggest 2 ones I have in the garden at the moment, and it looks excellent. I'm so glad I still have some of this left because I love it. I had a lot of Perpetual Spinach last year and I loved it. I would just like saute some onions in some olive oil and add in the Perpetual Spinach just chopped up a little bit, and then just have like a fried or poached egg on top, and it was amazing. So I really like that kind of spinach fresh. I kind of prefer it more than the baby spinach even that you can just buy in the shops. I just like the taste of the Perpetual Spinach more, so that's why I'm going to keep growing it. So also, what's in this bed, there's peas, radishes, beetroots, cauliflower, kale, broccoli, lettuce, carrot, capsicum, marigolds and spinach. So in here, this is where I popped some more extra peas that I had. These ones you can tell I have had in the bed a lot longer because they're really thick and strong. These peas look probably the most sturdy and strong and best out of all of the ones I've got in the garden so far, I think. These ones here, they're the green feast pea. I haven't tried before. I haven't tried the blue shelling pea before either. But these ones just look the best, so I'm excited for that. Oh, wow. Oh, look, that's the first pea flower. That's awesome. I've been watching the peas for ages and I haven't seen any flowers coming up on them. And I was wondering when they were going to pop up. But finally now I have the first pea flower, so that's great. We're going to start getting some peas. In here, these leaves here, they're leeks. They're also some of the leeks. That's the American flag leek. But back in here, these are bunching onions. They, I think, might be the white Lisbon bunching onions. And down here, that's a weed. Down there, there's some more beetroot. This is more beetroot. Everything's sort of grown in together, but that's great. Using a lot of space as much as I can. In here, there's some radishes. They are some of the watermelon radish. All along that way, that's still the watermelon radish. And on this side is also watermelon radish. So I had some this morning. So let me get one for you to show you a watermelon radish. Get a nice big one. So this here, this is a watermelon radish. It seems a little bit smaller to me than what I was expecting. This is probably actually the biggest of the watermelon radishes that I've cut so far. Sorry, that I've picked. No, it's a little bit spicy. Not too bad. There we go. I just want to try and show you the inside. It's kind of just peppery. It's like the height of my spiciness, but it'll be fine. I think it's really pretty. So it's got like the pinky center, but it's white on the outside. But that's actually pretty good fresh. I haven't eaten a lot of them fresh because I don't really like that spicy taste. But I'm growing a lot in winter. That's a mozzie. I'm growing a lot of radishes in winter because with the cold, cooler weathers, it can give them a slightly sweeter or less spicy taste. So that's the watermelon radish. My favorite actually is the China Rose radish, which no, it's the French breakfast. So it's this one in here. You see? So that's the French breakfast one. I had this one this morning. It's delicious. I slice it up and I saute it with onions, and then I have it with like kale or spinach and then an egg as well. It's really yum. I'll save it, have it tomorrow for breakfast. So I really liked having the radish in the middle of everything because they grow so quickly, and I found out that I actually do like eating them, sauteed at least. So it's nice to be able to come down and grab something from the garden because it's already ready to be eaten. Down the end here, I've got 2 black Nabila carrots. So they're looking a lot bigger, at least the foliage is. I haven't really been able to see much for a root, but I haven't been digging around a whole lot either. So that will be them in there. There's just 2 down there. Still can't see much for a root, but they'll still be a little while before I can harvest them. And in there, I've got sort of like, this is just a bunch of lettuces all together that I can pick from for salads. And then there's some bigger full lettuces that are more of like a full head lettuce that we can pick soon as well. These beauties here, these are my capsicums. They were just a mix, so I don't know which ones they are exactly. They're kind of like Californian Wonder. I've started to net some of them that are starting to change colour finally, to try and protect them from any animals that might want to eat them. I've been having some kind of animal, maybe possums or something, eat my tomatoes over there that are still green. So I'm trying to save these because I haven't been able to eat capsicums from my capsicum bushes because of the fruit fly. And I haven't seen any of the capsicums fall off or have much damage in a couple of weeks. So I'm hoping that some of these will actually be okay. So there's still a fair bit of fruit on there. There's another one in a bag. This one's starting to just get a bit of a blush yellowy orange on there. So keen to see what happens with that. In amongst all of this other greenery, these are the blue curled Scotch kale. They look great. I like the taste of them. I just need to keep checking them every now and then for little caterpillars. I haven't seen not nearly as many of the little eggs from the white cabbage butterfly or moth. Looks similar-ish to that. I haven't really seen many of them around, and I haven't seen not nearly as many eggs as there were getting on my plants, which is really good. I think maybe because the weather has started to chill out a bit, but I have seen some damage on some of the plants, like this little seedling here. It's been nibbled on, so I'm still aware that they could be around. They have started to eat some bits of pea leaves, So I'm still sort of just trying to check them when I can. Like this smaller one here. So just checking for the eggs are like that. Oh, you can't really see. It's like a little yellow oval egg dot thing that you'll find usually on the underside. There are some there. They're usually on the underside of the leaf. There's two there. I just wipe them off. Oh yeah, there's a bunch there. You just wipe them off. They hatch out into little green caterpillars and then they start munching on the leaves, which then you can just squash the caterpillars if you find them. If you let it get out of hand and you're not watching closely, it can get out of hand, but so far it's not been too bad. So this one, that's the Dino Kale. It's looking good. I love the texture on these. This big massive one, this is the cauliflower. That's the early Jezzy cauliflower, and that one is a broccoli. That one is I think it's broccoli de ciccio. Let's see. Oh no, it's purple sprouting broccoli. Just does not look as purple as some of my other purple broccolis. That's that one. Look at this. It's like fields of radishes. So these ones here, they're the watermelon radishes. These are the China rose along that way. I haven't really found one with a good root yet. They're all quite small. So, but I think that that might be something to do with my soil in the beds. I think maybe it just doesn't have enough of the nutrients it needs there. You need to have phosphorus is really good for root development, nitrogen is really good for leaves, and potassium is really good for fruits and flowers. And different plants need them in different quantities. So it could be just that it's lacking maybe a bit of nutrients on this side. They're also a lot smaller even in the leaves than with some of the others on the other side. So I'm not too sure, but that's alright. Just keep pressing on. This bed is awesome. I'm going to start with these just because they're massive, extend out. These are Napa Cabbage. They're basically Chinese cabbage. So if you've had wombok salad before, this is what you use to make it. So it is massive here, but down in there, that's where it'll be making the head of the cabbage. It's getting huge, but I love them. They just look magnificent. The one in the middle here, it started to go to seed. So you can see how it doesn't have much of a middle. It's very see-through, and this stem here is where it was sending up little flower buds. There are some little tiny, it'd be hard to see on here, but there are some tiny little flower buds just in there. So this one, I'm kind of just letting it go as it is, because it'd be neat to see it go to seed anyway. This one on the other side, however, it looks good. I think I'll still get a proper head of Chinese cabbage off that one. This little one down here and this one, they're the same. I just planted them about 3 weeks after each other, which is kind of cool because then hopefully I'll get this one after I've collected the other ones. This one has gone to seed. I did a video on it, send up its flowering stem, and it had little yellow flowers and something's eaten them. So I'm not sure what to do with this little guy. I might end up just pulling him out and putting him into the compost because I don't think he's going to send up any more buds. It's pretty clean eaten. Down here I've got a little comfrey plant. Along here underneath the Chinese cabbages are a bunch of carrots. There's a row of carrots there. They're all the Kuroda carrots, so they're an orange carrot. Over here, this is a Bloomsdale spinach. It's a tiny little thing still, I haven't been harvesting off it yet. It's just really small. I don't know. It could be also because of the positioning. It is quite shaded by this cabbage, these cabbage plants here. And this is English spinach, I believe. No, this is baby spinach. So I've got this one here. So it's looking okay, but same thing. It might just be too sheltered. And this one is definitely too sheltered because this is perpetual spinach. So it's a lot smaller than the other one. So if it had more sun, I'm actually considering maybe moving them over in to this spot here where it'll get a bit more sun if it's moved over. I did have a squash plant here. It's just getting too cold and it had powdery mildew and it was really slow growing, so I decided to just take it out. So I'm considering moving some of the spinaches just over where it'll get more sunlight. These ones along here, there's some more American flag leeks. When they get, as they start to get bigger, I'm going to be piling up more compost or soil around the bases just to mound them up. That helps to bleach the bottom part so it stays white. Down the end here, they're my sugar snap peas. They're going really great. I can't see any flowers on them yet, but they're also starting to attach themselves to my little baggies that are holding some of my tomatoes. I only bagged up the tomatoes because something has been coming and eating the green tomatoes before they can ripen. So I tried to bag them up to see if I could salvage those ones because they're not too far off being ripe and I wanted to actually eat them. And then once those are gone, then I'll probably cut the branch off here because that'll remove that long branch there, and then the peas will have a lot more space to grow up. But the tomato still looks really good. This is my Tomeato Tomato. So yeah, it's still got a lot of growth on it. So as long as it's healthy, I'm trying to keep it in the garden. But yes, a little bit of competition going on there. So hopefully those tomatoes will ripen so that we could eat them, and then I can let the peas have a bit more freedom. Back on the other side of the cabbages, there's underneath here another row of carrots. These are the black Nabila carrots, so they're nice and shaded under there. Hopefully they will have a nice little habitat to get growing and mature, and then by the time I can harvest the Wombok Chinese cabbage, then I can remove the cabbages and then these carrots will have a bit more light. In this row and under here you can see these are some golden beetroots. In there they're growing. They're in bunches so that as they grow they can just push away from each other. So those ones I didn't grow from seed. Those ones I got as seedlings and planted them out. These ones on the end, they're this part of the same. This in here is perpetual spinach from the first lot of perpetual spinach I had in the garden. It's not doing too great anymore, and I may take that out so that the other plants around it have a bit more space and can get some more nutrients, just because this one doesn't look like it's doing very well, and I have those other plants that are. In here, down there, that's some more beetroot. This is Early Wonder beetroot, the nice red one. So it's doing pretty good growing in there. Down here, I did sow some poppy seeds and these little guys came up. I haven't actually looked to see what the seedlings of poppy seeds look like, but I'm just leaving these until they get a bit bigger, until I can sort of work out what they actually are, because I can easily remove them once they get bigger if it's not what I think it is. On this side, look at this one, isn't it massive? That is so good. These capsicum plants, this one and that one, they're mini chocolate sweet capsicums, and they're pretty loaded for, this one's pretty loaded for the plant that it is, there's two of the branches have fallen off, but they're still slightly attached. So that one and that one, their branches are both broken, but they're still attached. So I'm going to leave it to see if they ripen so I can eat them. And this one over here, it's got a lot of fruit on it. These ones seem to be slightly smaller, but they still look good. And I've covered up this one because it's starting to ripen. It's changing to a red, but it's sort of a deep red. So I'll be interested to see what it looks like when it ripens. This is what the tag looks like. And on the very end, my little strawberry bush. Ants keep eating it before I can get to it. I have actually had a lot from it, actually. I've still been able to eat a fair bit. And then the ants can have some as well. But it's slowing down a little bit at the moment. Down here's my box of carrots. These are Paris Market carrots. They're just like a little ball carrot. So that's why I planted them in this little container, because they won't need as much space. They I probably do need to thin this out because there's a lot of carrots in this space. So as they get a little bit bigger, I might pick out some of the smaller ones and leave some of the bigger ones to mature to eat. And then in some of my grow bags, I have the garlic still. There's about 4 or 5 cloves in each of my grow bags. These ones. So they're looking good. They have been looking really good. It's only just really recently they've started to get this little bit of yellowish, sort of reddish tinge on the end of them. I'm not sure if that is rust or if I need to do anything about that. I've only just noticed that recently, so that's something I'm looking into investigating. But otherwise they are looking pretty good. Down in my poor little barrel here, my basil barrel, it's getting a bit too cold. So you can see the purple basil is nearly all died off. And this is holy basil. Some of its leaves are starting to fall off. And you can see my poor zinnias here. They are just about done, all yellowing off. Look at the old petals. They remind me of like burnt popcorn. And the Redmond cactus zinnia. Some of them are still pretty pretty. Some of them are not looking so great. So that's most of the garden at the moment. I'll just show you what I've got up in my pots. So in this pot I've got the blue shelling snow pea. It's getting nice and tall. And in this one I've got a cutting from my Tomeato Tomato growing in here. It seems to be nice and healthy and strong still, so that's really good. My rosemary cutting in here, starting to get a little bit of brown edges. I want to put this into another pot because this pot doesn't actually have drainage in it, so I try to be a bit sparing with water, but I think I will look into giving it a better pot with some actual drainage so it doesn't have to sit with wet feet. In this pot here I've got some dwarf peas growing and also another Milkmaid Nasturtium, because I'm really keen to see how that combination works when it grows up. And also my little mulberry cuttings. They're looking really good. So thanks, Raj. They're looking nice. And behind us here, just have some little tomato starts. This is for just a little experiment of mine. I want to see if I can grow some through winter. So that's the garden at the moment. Not as much as what there was in summer, but still a lot going on and a lot of green. So that's it. That's the garden for the start of May.